going on, y'all? It's Bryon. Fearless will be joining us shortly, back with another episode of the Trial and Error podcast. Um, Here's what we need to discuss. So we're following up on our conversation about fake expertise, and the rise of the guru, and a lot of it is in line of it's in line with the Cheyenne Bryant thing, but she's not the first one, nor will she be the last one. And we have to be earnest about how we assess people's expertise and who we're taking real advice from. Um,
Mhm.
because a lot of times people are really good at sounding credible. They are very articulate, and they are giving you basically well organized, well constructed gibberish. And so um, Cheyenne has been really. I to be honest with you, I checked out of the situation a while ago. Emotionally, I've seen that she's still making the rounds on social media. It's still pretty lucrative for her to continue the social media thing and defending herself, because at the end of the day, it's about getting seen. That's her entire brand, is being seen. And so she knows that, and this is me giving you straight up marketing talk, right? She knows, as a kind of personality in the space, a personality driven brand, that she's going to have people that mess with her regardless of how the public perception is. And so her increased layers of visibility and being out in public more, even though people are criticizing her, critiquing her, is still putting money in her pockets, because her people are going to mess with her no matter what. It's the same thing of when one of these prosperity gospel preachers gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar. I remember when Creflo Dollar got in trouble for talking about buying that plane, and how God said that he needed that plane, and he is going to make his the people attending his church pay for that plane. That didn't cost him all of his entire flock, because people mess with him regardless. And so that's where Cheyenne Bryant is. Like, the media attention is fine for her. It doesn't matter if it's critique, it doesn't matter if it's negative, because she's still getting money from the people that were going to give her money regardless. And so um I do think that there's something to be said about this, the bullshit of holding people accountable. You can't hold a stranger accountable for something. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And being mean to somebody on the internet is not the same thing as holding somebody accountable. And I think we're seeing the edges of that. But at the end of the day, and this is just my little tangent. At the end of the day, Cheyenne Bryant gonna make her money regardless of what we think or what we say, because that's just how the guru space works. But
So,
go ahead.
in sociology, one of the things that I'm learning a lot about now is I think that the reason why this whole thing, um, uh, I think that the reason why this whole thing is kind of catching on
Yep.
the way that it is, and people are so offended, is because it breaks the mold of no, what's normal.
Yep. Real
You
quick,
know what
we're
I'm
talking
saying?
about the Cheyenne Bryant thing and fake gurus and fake authority and all that other stuff. So that's what we're
Yeah.
chopping it up about today.
So should you listen to fake experts in general?
Hmm.
But at the same time, though, I think that it asks the question of what is an expert um, in general, and do you need to have credentials for that? And I'll say that. But at the same time, though, I think that the thing that hurts her the most is that she never had to say that she was a doctor of anything.
Yeah.
She could have just came out and said, "Hey, this is what it is, blah 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 blah, whatever, whatever." You know, I am Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Although I play one on TV, that's actually, I'm not,
Hmm.
or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Um, I think that would have worked out a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because again, and even with her getting an honorary doctorate, she's taking that like it's real. That's not real.
Yeah.
They're telling you that we acknowledge you.
Right.
You're not a doctor because you have stringent academic credentials. It's just that we recognize you for the work that you do.
Hmm.
That's it.
Well, and being a doctor, in most cases doesn't people we narrow it down and say it's just a medical doctor or dentist or something along those lines. Um, Doctorate means that you've reached that doctoral level in terms of what your education is. So you can be a doctor of education, you can be a doctor of a lot of different things, but she's not a doctor of anything. And that's what we're talking about. And when you take the term doctor, you're basically saying that you've passed the whatever the academic rigor or whatever is to be to put yourself into that population of people that have doctoral degrees and have pursued it and whatnot.
Which are quite a few now.
And there's a lot of people now that
There's
have,
a bunch of people that are doctors.
and you
A
have honor.
bunch.
There's a lot of honorary doctorates and whatnot based on the whoever's conferring the honorary degree or whatnot. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about I wake up one day and decide I am Dr. Bryan Hill
Yeah.
Esquire or whatever. And I decide to start giving myself a lot of these accolades without
Right.
having to done any of the academic rigor to earn those titles. We're not talking about the veracity of those titles in and of themselves, because doctors can still be wrong, doctors can still make mistakes, doctors can still talk outside of what their experience is and be completely full of shit. But I think it adds another layer to being full of shit when you are saying you are a doctor and are not one. And the other side of the coin is, I'm not saying that she hasn't given good advice, but there's
Correct.
no when you if you're a doctor, if you're not really a doctor, I'm not saying that she hasn't given good advice, but when you are saying you're a doctor but you're really not, there's no framework that can hold you ethically accountable for the bad advice you give. Like, you can't lose anything from it, and there's no expectation or standard of what your practice is supposed to be. So she's all over the place. She's not the only one, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt her brand. It's like that Derek Jackson dude, right, who was the relationship expert, who was out there creeping around on his wife, and treating her terribly, but he's coming on here telling women what they needed to see and what they needed to hear from men. I'm not saying the dude's advice was complete bullshit. Like, there was a layer of common sense that was woven throughout it. What I am saying is, he's full of shit, and a full of shit person can sit there and tell you things that make sense. That is the nature of life. And so that's kind of where she's at. And the other side is, for the people that mess with him and mess with his brand, it didn't make the slightest bit of difference. They're still going to put money in his pocket. Saw his wife up there. She was talking about how to recover your relationship, $900 to get into the workshop, and people were gladly paying for it. So from a
Yeah, because experience is especially something that you watched happen.
yeah.
You know that she went through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just discrediting her is going to turn off the people that probably weren't going to be in her corner anyway. But the people that were really 100% invested in her as a character, and I'm saying as a character because this is a character. Now we're into stage play. This is a character, the character of Cheyenne Bryant. As a social media character, the people that are aligned with her character, this is not going to impact their decision to platform or give her money or anything, any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't.
Okay.
And I think one of the people that's kind of demonstrated, I don't know if you follow CoffeeZilla on YouTube. CoffeeZilla is always exposing YouTubers that are involved in crypto scams and ripping people off. He had an entire breakdown because he's an investigative journalist. He had an entire breakdown of Epstein and all that other stuff. If people are aligned with the person that is mentioned in this, more times than not, the people that are going to do business with them are going to go do business with them regardless, because they are driven to do business with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, for
They'll
sure.
look for it. They'll look through it. And it's more of a speaking to your individual character, and what you value in your life, and what you hold dear and what you hold important. That's more of a reflection on the consumer than it is the person that is providing the product or service. So that's
Right.
what the take is.
So even with Dr. Bill Cosby, I actually looked that up That's kind of one of the things that I was doing too. And he has a bunch of honorary degrees,
Hmm.
although majority of them have rescinded them
Yeah.
amidst the sexual assault convictions and all that stuff. But he actually did earn a doctorate in 1976
It's like
from
physical education.
huh?
Isn't it like physical education or something?
No, just education
Okay.
or whatever from the University of Massachusetts Amherst in 1976. So he is actually a real doctor.
Yeah.
So when people say Dr. Cosby, it's actually Dr. Cosby.
Hmm.
So again, but he also has honorary degrees as well. One of my favorite astrophysicists, Neil deGrasse Tyson, is also a
Hmm.
doctor as well, although he never calls himself that.
Right.
He never talks about it
Well,
ever.
and I think it's because, at some point it just becomes natural and normal to you. I think one of the things is like, and Fearless can kind of attest to this because I talk about it off air all the time. I
Mm,
know a lot of shit, and because I'm so familiar with a lot of things, I devalue what I know. I think that it's not as valuable because I'm so familiar with it. I think it's just common knowledge to everybody,
right,
and it's not. And as a result, when it comes to that business side of things, I have a bad habit of undercharging for my knowledge and time. And that's just the thing that you do. And a lot of times that's kind of the sign of whether you're dealing with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Now, you're going to encounter people that know they're confident and they have that level of that experience where, yeah, you're going to 100% pay me for my time. But sometimes people that don't have the knowledge feel really super comfortable charging you through the nose for the things that they don't know and using you as kind of a lab rat to gain their knowledge or whatnot. That's one of the things. That's one of the things with expertise. As you start becoming more fluent and more knowledgeable in specific endeavors, you end up almost saying you end up devaluing what you don't know, what you do know, because you know how much you don't know, if that
right,
makes sense. And that's why Dunning Kruger is a thing that exists, because people that are super competent and super knowledgeable tend to be a little less confident in their knowledge.
right. But I mean, but I think that the Dunning Kruger effect
Yeah,
is kind of along those same lines. But
yeah,
I think that the differentiation of it is that you think because you're amazing at this over
yeah.
here
That's the other
that you're
side
gonna
to it.
be great at everything,
Yeah,
and you're not.
and that's what I'm saying.
It,
It's that it's the
yeah, because your confidence is so high over here, you take that everywhere, and then and so here's the thing. Sometimes that can be extremely dangerous
yep,
because especially if you're making laws for people, especially if you're making policies for people. If you're great over here, but you say that, well, climate change ain't got nothing to do with us, but you're a polymath over here, it doesn't mean that you're good at everything. It just means that you're great over here. It's kind of like a person having a law degree and also having a medical doctorate as well.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? And again, and then they decide to go into medical law. Awesome, you probably should. Like myself, I'm into sociology
hmm,
and philosophy and religion. So my that's my hub.
hmm.
That's where I feel more comfortable at. Somebody else might be into something totally averse to what I'm doing,
Hmm.
but because sociology encompasses everything, because philosophy encompasses everything, I want to know what you're doing.
Well, and I'll throw this in because you should learn
But
what
I'm not going to
people.
call myself a doctor
Right.
because I'm not.
And that's the thing. So you should be willing to learn what people will pay. The thing about it is, though, because I've walked in and done like $42,000, like a $42,000 contract, right? And then after the fact, I'm like, ooh, I undercharged for this. For most people, they would have been like, damn, that's $42,000. For me, I'm like, damn, I undersold what I should have done. So there's levels and tiers to it. One of the things that's dangerous, specifically if you are in that I'm not a real expert, but I play one on TV mode. What happens is it gets dangerous when you start making money. I'm gonna tell you why. Because say you've decided that you're gonna start selling veneers out your garage, like teeth, like veneers for your teeth. You decide I'm gonna start selling them out my garage. It's really easy to trick yourself into thinking that you're a dental expert because people are lining up to pay for your out your garage veneers. And that's the trap that people fall into really fast because the money starts coming in and they're like, well, people are paying me. I must know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up putting somebody in the hospital with your DIY glue on veneers. Like, so it's a real slippery slope when you start playing around the fake expertise because you use the money as a justification to validate your expertise. But the money doesn't really mean anything because money follows confidence. It doesn't follow knowledge all the time. There's a lot of people out there that are really super smart, and they're always going to be employees of somebody else because that's the area that they're comfortable in. That's the area of that's the area of applied knowledge that they're comfortable in. They're fine being the expert, but they don't necessarily want to step out on their own and be the expert and collect their own money, which is fine. But for some people that don't know shit, they start getting that money and that money is rolling in really good. And all of a sudden, like, well, shoot, man, I just got paid all this money. I must know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, people's the veneers that you sold them in your garage, out your garage, is falling off into their soup and scaring the children and stuff like that.
Right, while you're talking, your shit starts coming off and like chiclets, like
your teeth start sliding off your teeth. And so
like pull your teeth up.
You end up with 70 you end up with 72 teeth.
So
but that's what's happening, right? Like
okay,
the money starts coming in for these fake experts. That's what happened probably with Cheyenne, where people start paying her. You get paid. I don't think people understand how the social media game's paid. I get checks from Facebook. I get brand deals. My footprint is not very big, but I get people wanting to pay me to speak about their brand. I get checks from social media all the time. They're not big checks. They're not big by any stretch, but it's money.
They're not big yet.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that can be really alluring to somebody that never thought that they get paid for the things that they tell people they know online. And so when you go on these talk shows, when you see somebody on the Breakfast Club, they've been paid to be on there more times than not. Or they have some kind of deal worked out where they know this is going to be really lucrative for them to appear. I know when you go on Vlad TV, you get paid. A lot of these interview shows and podcasts and stuff that you see, I don't know if Callum, Callum, whatever his name is on Facebook, who has interviews the up and coming CEOs and stuff, Callum Johnson. I think the people who go on there get paid, or they have some kind of arrangement where they know it's going to drive a lot of business to them. If they're bigger than him, they probably have a venture or something set up that drives business to. A lot of these places.
Why does a person need to pay a person to interview them?
It's content because it makes them money too. So without like Vlad, if you look at Vlad TV, right? What would Vlad TV be without these wild interviews or somebody snitching on themselves, implicating themselves in some federal crime that they did?
But I remember at one time Vlad was not paying people
right
to be on there, at all. Now the regulars would make money, and I understand that. Exclusive, like he did with Snitch 6ix9ine.
Yeah,
I understand that, but and like again, his regulars, he was paying them, to do that, which I get. But I don't understand. Like if you go on the Tonight Show, they're not paying you to be on there.
Well, if you go on the Tonight Show and you got a movie coming up, you are getting paid. you are effectively getting paid because you're going out
You're
and
marketing
you're marketing your
the
movie.
thing, correct? But
But
technically, you've already been paid
yeah, but now you're trying to increase the amount that you're going to get,
for
and
sure.
then and also increase your negotiating power for future roles. Fly TV. The reason why he pays people because when people come on his show and start, if he gets a viral clip or something, he's getting a lot of money for that.
Okay.
He's getting a lot of money, and so he's paying, I think, like $5,000 an appearance to some people, and he might be getting $50,000 as a trade in terms of brand revenue, in terms of ad revenue, ad placement, all the other stuff,
I mean, yeah. I mean,
sponsorship money.
look at Boosie. Boosie was getting what 25,000,
Hmm.
and then because of the 6ix9ine thing, because he paid him 50, and Boosie like, hey, I want a little bit more too. Then
Hmm.
it's like, no, stay in your lane.
Well, who was the other one that did that?
So,
Old boy from Mad TV.
so
He felt
Aries,
Yeah, Aries Spears fell out with Vlad TV because he was like, I need more money, and Vlad's like, I do, like, it was like such and such getting paid $50,000 for their. And he's like, well, they come on once and make this many views. He's like, you might come on 10 times and cumulatively make that much money in terms of views. So I'm paying you $5,000. I'm paying you what I think you should get in terms of that, because at the end of the day, and Aries didn't like that, and they had the entire back and forth behind it. But that's how they're making money, is what I'm saying. And
hmm,
so when Cheyenne Bryant goes on these places, on these interviews and whatnot, either she's being compensated or is driving business to her brand. Like, this ain't free, and so the attention she's
hmm.
getting right now, she's leaning into it. She's like, all right, yeah, I'm a fraud, I'll go on and defend myself. And people will say, well, she should stop talking, she's digging her hole deeper. Yeah, she's digging her money pit deeper because more and more people are seeing her, and the people that are going to give her money are going to give her money regardless.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, if
I,
if
I,
if integrity and
here's the thing.
credibility matters to you.
It is a misdemeanor
Mm,
in California to say that you're a doctor
yeah.
when you're not.
Yep. And so you don't say it in California.
I mean, right, but she's in California, she's saying it.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, he even, like I said last week, my certification as a life coach states that I am a therapeutic coach.
Hmm.
CTC, certified therapeutic coach, right? I cannot call myself that in Nebraska.
Right.
I could call myself a life coach because there's no strings attached with that. But I cannot call myself a certified therapeutic coach because I cannot have therapeutic in anything that I do.
Yeah.
I can tell you that that's my title that I graduated with, but I cannot call myself a therapeutic coach at all. Now, give me about 7 years
Hmm.
and I'll be able to do that. But at this present moment in time, I cannot do that.
But
That's what I'm saying.
have you ever? So there's a video. There's a guy who he's brother down in Missouri. He is a financial advisor, and makes a lot of money. And he has a little YouTube show called Pocket Watching with JT. And what JT does is he talks about financial frauds and financial crimes, and outs a lot of these people that are conducting these frauds and everything. And one of the videos he showed a couple months ago was somebody getting arrested because for whatever reason, they listened to somebody online, and this person was talking about how to repair their credit or do something, and basically gave them a fake tax ID number that they used as a business venture, bit to get business credit. And now they jammed up, and so they tried to buy a car uh with that fake tax ID number, EIN, essentially the fake EIN. And they called the cops and arrested them, and this person's like, well, such and such on the channel said that this thing is legit, I bought this number from them. And people don't care about that. So that's the danger of it. And the person that's doing it JT's like, this is a crime, bro. Like, this is a crime. And more or less, that person's like, people paying me for it. That's the danger. It ends up separating you from your common sense. This could separate you from your logic centers. I'm wondering if it's separating her from logic centers. Because I remember what she was on there talking about. She was the first Black woman to have a storefront in Bel Air or some shit like that. That's fine.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Bel Air. It was
Beverly Hills or somewhere.
Malibu.
Malibu, something along those lines.
Yeah. And she said she had 3 storefronts.
Yeah.
And was running a daycare center.
Yeah. At some point, your lies end up catching up to you. And if your believability, your credibility, your ethics, having people trust you, if that stuff matters to you, that's a very dangerous game. If you don't care about that stuff,
go right on ahead.
Go knock yourself out. And I think that's the world that we're running into. Because here's the thing. You can manufacture credibility online. You can manufacture it. Ty Lopez built an entire empire doing it. He built it so well that people were actually giving him money. Like, they gave him money. He got an investment group together. He's going to buy Radio Shack and Dress Barn and make them online marketplaces and modernize them and stuff like that. He got capital. He got investment capital to do this from venture capitalists. Big money to do this. It was all bullshit. All of it was. And all he was doing was he was using the millions and millions of dollars that he got so that he could create more content and show this is what I'm doing without doing it. That's the game that people are playing right now. And people believed him, even though he got outed years and years ago. Like, years and years ago, people like, that money's fake. He's renting these cars. His business doesn't work. I've paid money for it and it doesn't work. That's real. And so that's what we're encountering right now. So she's running a years long. I mean, this thing is old. This is a tale as old as time. And she'll be fine. She will be fine. 100%. So,
I mean, here's the thing. I hope the shit, like, I don't care one way or the other. I'm indifferent. I'm just saying, like, to me, here's the thing. I wasn't going to buy her shit anyway. So I couldn't care less. Like, I know. But at the same time, though, when people say she's not hurting anybody, that's bullshit. Stop saying that.
And I think that's the problem.
Stop saying that, man. Because not only is she hurting people, she's actually giving a shit narrative to people that actually want to go to school to be a therapist. And she's shitting on all those people that are working their asses off to become therapists.
Mm-hmm.
All the work that they've had to do. And this motherfucker has come through and again, skip the line and do nothing. It's kind of like, dude, what are you do? And then like, the more that you read about the stuff and then you listen to her excuses, it's like, I don't charge insurance companies because at that point I have to title you, right? I have to give you a title. And it's kind of like, that's how you get around treating people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because once you start treating people, once you start diagnosing people, it's illegal. But here's the thing. It's already illegal because once you've taken money online from another person under the guise that you are a doctor.
Yeah, it's wire fraud now.
That's wire fraud. It's wire fraud.
I remember I was in a
period. So this woman has committed so many crimes, and I'm like, that's crazy.
I remember I was in a group with a cat, and he's trying to get us all. He's like, brothers, if we just pool our money together and open up a bank account, You can take that money and put it, and he had this entire elaborate thing where he's like, and we're gonna put the money in a bank account, and then we're gonna take that money and collect the interest and bank the interest, and then move the money to another bank account and keep doing it until we build up this big pool of interest money, and then we distribute. It's like somebody's like, that's wire fraud, bro. What you're doing is wire fraud. He's like, no, it's not. I'm gonna go prove it. Like, knock yourself out, bro. We ain't doing that. We'll see you when you get out the feds. Uh,
How's that wire fraud though?
the way he laid it out, because we had somebody who was actually did cybersecurity and banking and stuff. He laid this out. It was like this really elaborate shuttling money, kiting money between multiple bank accounts, and then just collecting the interest. And you're just taking the same money and transferring it from here to here to here to here to here, and it's like, you can't do that. And he got that from somebody online. He got that from one of these credit folks or one of these credit repair people online. He thought it was legit because this person said it, and it's like, no, brother, that's wire. Like, you're gonna get caught up really fast. You doing wire fraud right here, and then you trying to implicate all of us and wrap all of us into your plan. There is no way we doing this. So you go out and do it.
You trying to wrap us all up in your shit.
You go out and do it. Anytime somebody says, hey man, real quick, so I got this idea that we can get this money, somebody going to jail. And so somebody going to jail. The way that you approach it is, hey man, boom, man. I got it. And we had to break it down. Like,
you said, hey, as soon as somebody says, hey man, I got this idea, somebody going to jail. So, he said, off top, one of y'all going to prison.
And so, but that's how simple it is, because he didn't have malicious intent. He thought this was a legitimate money hack that people just didn't know about. Well, the reason why people don't know about it is because it's illegal. And people tend to not want to disclose the workings of illegal activities because they're illegal. And it's like, but that's he heard it online. And that's what Fearless is saying. This is not victimless. What Cheyenne Bryant's doing is not necessarily victimless, especially when it gets into the money stuff and the business stuff. The therapy stuff is dangerous in and of itself, because when you start playing around with people's diagnoses and stuff like that, you can open up some very, very dark doors that she is not equipped from an academic rigor standpoint or a practice standpoint to address. But specifically when you start talking about the money side of things, again, there's a reason why in the 80s and 90s these prosperity gospel churches, them, James Baker and all that, they was getting jammed up left and right. There's a reason why, because the money starts flowing in, and at some point you end up losing connection of what money is good money versus what money is bad money, and at some point it's all good. The money ends up becoming a validation for the approach you're using, whether it's legal or illegal, and that's what happens. Cheyenne is playing the game. We're sitting there. I think everybody's just kind of sitting around waiting for an indictment.
I think so.
Because either the indictment's coming and she's going to get jammed up on stuff that she actually did, or she's going to get exposed for shit that she didn't do. One of those two things is about to happen. Because you can't be tied to this many business ventures.
And it's so sad because you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was also somebody else who was actually in school with her that was saying, like, no, like when we got to school, she was telling people that she was a doctor. And she's like, no, that's what I'm paying for. But again, I don't even know if you can actually believe that.
Yeah.
So she's made it to the point where you don't believe anything that anybody says. And then you talk, and then you listen to and watch doctors who went to Argosy University, and then people are like, is that school even real? And then people are like, yes, no, it was very real. we don't remember her from this and you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, dude, that's just crazy. I mean, so when I say that she's hurt people, when people say that she hasn't hurt anybody, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, she has.
Because there's somebody
That
watching.
lion shit.
There's somebody that's watching her right now and saying they're trying to model their behaviors after her and do the things that she's done. And even whether it gets exposed as bad or whatnot, you're still going to get jammed up the same way. You know, there's always other people trying to jump into the space after somebody has a big flame out, especially in these internet streets. Remember the sister that had the trucking business, and then she didn't have a trucking business, and then she's selling people on how to be a trucker, and then she never ran a truck, she never had a truck of her own, but she's telling people how to start trucking business, and it got exposed, and everything came crashing down. But she's back up and stuff like that, and you see her popping up with a new scheme, and so that's just what's going to happen. The frustrating part is you're watching an intelligent person constantly make the dumbest choices available just because it's expedient and gets money in the pocket. Expertise does matter, y'all, and I think that was the end of what we were talking about last week. That's where we ended out with one of
It
our
does.
with one of our
It
common commenters,
very, it very much matters.
because we were talking about how, the devaluing the degree, and we talked about, well, I mean, the devaluing of a degree kind of coincides with who is allowed access to college and stuff like that, like we were talking about that thread. And all of a sudden degrees don't matter, but most people don't have degrees, like like it's growing, the number is growing, but I do think there's a larger percentage of people that don't have a degree than do. And so there's
What
going
do
to
you
be,
mean?
so I think that, because I think I pulled it up, percentage of people with bachelor's degrees, right? Of Americans with degrees, right? Because that's what I was looking up, and then we had to get moving. There's still most of the country, if I'm not mistaken, most people don't have uh, a degree. Like most people, most people don't have. I'll say it like this: about 49% have earned some form of degree, so it's close to 50. But um, when we're talking about like associate's degrees and things along those lines, right? When you talk about bachelor's and above, it's like 38%.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then most people have had some college, so it's like 14%, right? And so we're talking about the devaluing of degrees and how they don't matter anymore. And part of me is like, I understand it, but then the other side of me is like, that's kind of a shitty thing. That's kind of a weird rug pull to pull on people, because for a long time, and even now in the labor market, people are still getting told you need a 4-year degree for this job. That doesn't change the fact that the labor market is still telling people this job requires a 4-year degree.
Hmm.
And then you tell them, well, they don't need a degree. Okay, well, the labor market says otherwise. So what are we doing here? What message are we
Right.
sending?
But I mean, at the same time, though, man, again, that's the thing I love about sociology. And I was just reading about that yesterday. So everything is controlled by one thing or another. So if a person says, "Well, you need to go to school. You need a degree for this."
Mm-hmm.
First off, who says you need a degree for something that 40 years ago you didn't need a degree for that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why do you need one now? Well, it's because certain things are in place now that wasn't strenuous before. And I'll bring you to like the reason why we don't have, and we're probably not gonna have cars from China, especially EVs from China in America. It's
Mm-hmm.
because number one, it'll put American manufacturing companies out of business.
Yeah.
Put them out of business because their cars are cheaper, the cars are better, and for the most part, they just all around just better in general,
Yeah.
better engineer, all that stuff, right? So so we're not gonna have that. So then what happens is that a tariff is put on those cars, right?
Right.
So it's not like it's illegal. It's just that if it's a 40, let's say it's a $40,000 car,
Mm-hmm.
you're not paying $40,000 for that. You're paying $80,000 for that,
Mm-hmm.
plus the tax, and that's just to bring one over here.
Right.
That's the reason why you're never gonna see. Well, it's so funny because we talk so much about well, capitalism is about letting letting the small man come in here and compete. No, the fuck, it's not.
And that's about keeping people from competing.
It's about keeping you from competing. Because think about, why is there only a few cell phone companies? Why is there only a few internet companies? Why is
Because
there a monopoly on that?
they have compacts. A lot of these in there, like I saw it a couple years ago. They have these compacts where this specific internet provider works in this specific region, and the other internet providers are not allowed to be in that region. And the way that Cox has done it specifically is when Google was trying to come in, they were suing Google, saying Google was disrupting their lines for trying to put down their own. And that's how they kept people out of that's how they kept people out of the space. It was this thing. And so it was anti-competitive. It was
Very.
made to make it so that's what happened. Like people think that capitalism is about not competing, is winning without competing. I talk about it. It's winning. It's endemic of what I see in youth sports, but it's also crossing up. People want to win without having to compete.
Yes.
They don't want to have to offer a better service. They don't want to have to deliver a higher quality. They just want to be
They
able
don't
to.
want to have to do anything.
Yeah, they don't want to have to do anything, and so they don't want to compete, and so they find ways to rig the game, and that's what happens. And so when we talk about it, we talk about the free market and everything. The free market is keeping people out of the free market. Businesses like, well, we welcome competition because competition forces innovation. Ain't no CEO saying that. They don't want no competition. Last thing they want to do is spend money on R&D. They don't want to spend money on research and development. That money needs to go to shareholders. They need to be able to artificially inflate the price of their stocks. So they're not going to pay. They don't want to innovate. They don't want to make the thing better. They want to make it for cheaper so it lasts a little bit. It doesn't last as long, so it has to be replaced more frequently. That's the world we're living in. And I think a lot of people, they don't want to reckon with that. They want to hold on to this thing. And so they don't. The competition, come on, man. Ain't nobody, these people ain't out, man. Walmart ain't trying to compete. Walmart ain't out here trying to compete with nobody. They don't welcome competition. They may say they do, but then they rig their pricing system so they crush anybody that tries to stand on equal ground with them or try to compete evenly with them. I've seen it. I've seen it in the youth sports game where parents want their kids at these top level teams, and then they'll run from teams where the kid actually has to compete for a spot to go for an easier spot. That's what the game is, and that's the mentality that we've kind of adopted in this country. The best and brightest don't win. It's the cheapest and fastest.
Think about that, y'all. The best and brightest do not win. They don't. And sadly enough, depending on what school you're talking about and what you're talking about, you may not ever even see the best and brightest.
Mm-hmm.
Or matter of fact, you may see them but not even recognize it when you see it. Well, because we're so garnered to looking at one particular thing that you're not gonna see. You wouldn't know it if you saw it.
So let's look up biggest pizza. Let's look up most biggest pizza chain, right? Most profitable pizza chain.
Those two things may not necessarily be synonymous either.
in the U.S. Top by sales. I brought this up. This is from the
Show
Toast
show
list.
me the show us the screen.
All right, because I promise you, it's not the best. It's what's delivered fast. When you think of, I'm throw it out here before I put it on screen. When you think of fast food pizza, what's the first name that comes to your mind?
Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Domino's.
I'm gonna show you this now. Domino's ranks number one in global U.S. location, global locations, and sales revenue.
Okay, so Domino's is number one. Okay, hold on. Go down.
I'm jumping down. I'm jumping
Oh,
down to the list.
okay. 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 Papa John's, Papa Murphy's,
Hmm.
Marco's. Okay. So Godfather's is still in the top 10. Okay.
Yeah, and Papa Murphy's is surprising. I like Papa Murphy's because their pizza tastes better. Even though I got to cook it, I'm cool with that. It
Yeah,
don't
no,
bother
no.
me at
Their
all.
pizza's amazing. Papa John's is trash.
Yeah. Um.
Their food is absolutely disgusting, in
But
my opinion.
you know, but it's not the best pizza. Like if you think of what the best pizza chains are around, it's probably not one of these places on this list. But you know, and I throw it out there because Chuck E. Cheese during the pandemic, they opened up an entire ghost kitchen called Pasquelli's, and people did not know that they were ordering pizza from Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese's pizza not bad though.
Yeah.
Like 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 yeah, that shit's really good though.
So now we're going to sales and revenue because this is the number that matters. Okay. Domino's is absolutely crushing the market. Pizza Hut has had to do restructuring and rebuilding. I think they just had a thing where somebody bought, it was either 800 or 8,000 franchises, and it's basically returning them back to 90s era Pizza Hut that we all remember and love, just because they got to do something different. Little Caesars.
Mhm.
Little Caesars is like, uh, Papa John's ain't running with Little Caesars, bro, from a sales standpoint, because Little Caesars is like, hey, man, you want pizza? And you don't want to wait and you don't really care, like you just want a pizza. I was in college, man. Little Caesars was clutch for me in college, bro. I'm just telling you. That's the
$5,
yeah, that's the place
$5 pizzas.
that's the place where we went. And even with like kids' birthday parties and everything, the kids like it
Yeah, that not that part. People will go get Little Caesars all day long.
because it's cheap and it doesn't cost a heck of a lot. So when you talk about what your favorite pizza restaurant is, it's probably not these, but these are the ones that are getting the most money, because being the best at what you do doesn't necessarily mean anything for the quality of what you're offering. That's the game. It's
Hey,
not
let's
best and
go
brightest don't win.
down a little bit. I want to see the
Fastest growing by revenue, Sabaros. Sabaros is partnered with,
dude.
I think, Quick
Sab-
Shop.
Sabaros used to be my like at the West Roads.
Yeah.
Man, that was my favorite pizza place. Oh my god, it was so good. Oh my
Um,
god.
what makes them work? So, and I can tell you a little bit if you care about the marketing side of things. Um,
Sure.
the geofencing, geolocating, and all the other stuff. That's what's killing it for Domino's, because you could be driving by a Domino's and see a Domino's ad in your social media feed, because that's how dialed in this stuff is. Um, they
Yeah,
intersect you. They show
that
you
was
ads.
not that good. I'm just
They
saying.
they're showing you ads at the time where you're making decisions about dinner, and they learn what your behaviors are and they serve you those ads. So I know on Friday nights, I'm probably going to see a Pizza Hut ad on my feed. I'm probably going to see a Domino's ad in my feed while we're making the decision to have dinner. That's kind of what it operates on.
Make sure you have enough Pepto Bismol and enough toilet paper.
So, Marcos has been excommunicated from my house. I don't. They pissed my wife
Yeah,
off.
I'm good on that.
But so basically, what we're saying is, because I'll go back up to the numbers that matter. Locations don't matter. You can absolutely bump a franchise.
Dio's is pretty good.
Yeah,
Dio's is not bad.
you can absolutely, if you have a franchise, you can absolutely temporarily boost your numbers by opening up a second location. So locations don't matter as much. We need to look at raw sales. And Domino's is kind of owning the market because Domino's promise was hot pizza now. Not good pizza now, hot pizza in now. That
You
that
said not good pizza, hot
hot
pizza,
hot pizza now.
hot
That
pizza now.
and that was
We
their
didn't say
promise.
nothing about good.
Right.
Good,
And
good
good
is subjective.
good is conditional. Sometimes it might be good, other times, sometimes it might. Here's the thing: there's a difference between something
Oh
being
my god,
there's a
that's
some
funny,
there's a
dude.
some there's a difference between something being clutch, coming through in the clutch, and something being good. Something coming through in the clutch just got to be enough to get you through.
That's
And
it.
and Domino's for a lot of parents, same thing for Little Caesars. For a lot of parents, kids want pizza. I don't want to spend because we was looking at a pizza restaurant on was it Friday night. We'll try a new spot, right? And then I started ordering. I'm like, man, this pizza by itself costs $27. I had the money. I'm not paying $27. Oh, it's like $27. How many pizzas you get? I'm like, we get one. She's like, nah. Let's dial it back.
She
And
said
so,
like one pizza for 27.
yeah,
From where?
I think it was Rosati's or something like that. There's another chain that's kind of a Chicago-based chain.
I
Um,
mean, Godfather's for a large is
yeah. Well,
that,
and we
but it's
live.
also Godfather. So
Yeah. But we are, so we're, where I'm situated, we are within, not too far from the best rated pizza shop in Omaha,
where?
which is Mangia's Italia over in Irvington.
I'm, yeah, okay.
And so
Are they
um,
really good?
they are phenomenal.
Dude, yeah. Jessica tells me all the time, dude, you gotta go over there. I'm like, man.
It's a because it's not just a pizza restaurant; it's an Italian restaurant. They do pizza, and so but their pizza you're going to pay for it. It's not cheap, but it's good. And so that our take was, well, shoot, I could go over here and get this really, really good place that I know is really good for the same price, or I could go take a flyer on this other place that you know how Yelpers get, where Yelpers can get picky, but it's like, and so that's the difference. Like I said, the promise of Domino's is hot pizza now. It doesn't have anything to do with good. It's good enough. Will it kill you? No. All right, cool. Let's roll with it. We got a kid's birthday party. Let's go up to Little Caesars. We can get for $30. We can feed them and they can leave us alone. We don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And it's serviceable. And so what I'm saying is this: from the capitalism argument, the innovation is not in the plan. The company that innovates the most isn't in the plan. It's the same thing with these AI companies, right? Right now, we're in the stage where they're all iterating essentially the same thing. Very few are doing something that's new or different or novel. Um, the new ones that are coming out are just refreshing the stuff that's already in the marketplace because there's no money in innovation unless you're guaranteed that innovation is going to make you money in and of itself. So,
okay,
we've gotten far afield of what we were talking about because we were talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, but I don't know how we got on this. We talked about Billy Carson last week. I don't want to reiterate because he makes you stupid. Like I've listened to too much of his stuff this week in preparation for the show, and I can't. It dropped my IQ points like 3 or 4 different levels. Like, confidence is not evidence. And I think this is a part we can close. We can start closing out with.
Okay, cool.
Confidence is not evidence. Confidence makes weak claims feel strong. A person can speak smoothly and use those really big, high value words. They can tell really good stories and cite vague research or reference famous institutions.
Okay.
And none of that, and they can still be wrong. Like I said, Cheyenne Bryant can go on there and give really good common sense advice, and the main premise of her argument might be wrong, but she's right about this specific point.
Gotcha.
It happens all the time. And so oftentimes we end up leaning into this confident person. I mean, what's a con man? What does con man mean? What is con short for? confidence, a
Hmm.
confidence man. And that's the role we play. And so I think, again, we talked about it last week. The pretty privilege, the confidence privilege, all the other stuff. That's why people are going to continue to give her money, even though right now she's going through, everybody is saying that she's a scammer.
Hmm. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if everybody's saying that she's a scammer. I think what people are saying is that she's a liar.
Yeah,
Those are not the same thing.
true.
Because if your if your information is good and it helps people, then cool.
Hmm.
But you don't have to add the extra BS to it for your word to be any more legitimate.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I love philosophy. If you look on my screen, it says Fearless the Philosopher. I don't have to have a degree in philosophy to say I'm a philosopher,
Hmm.
right? Like, what is a philosopher? A philosopher is a person who loves knowledge. If you look in the back of me with the lights, those are all books there. Above me are books. Besides me are books. My television with the little blue light behind me, books under there. Like, I don't like knowledge. I love it.
Hmm.
This is what works for me, right? But that's what works for me.
Hmm.
I can't tell you what's going to work for you, especially if you don't like to read, you know?
Right.
But I do. So if I call myself a philosopher, I mean it in the 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 example of a person who loves knowledge, a person who wants to be open, a person who tries to stay open,
Hmm.
a person who tries their best to stay objective, not objective. Is objective the right?
Yeah, I think so.
Objective,
Yeah.
subjective? No, objective.
Objective. Objective.
Objective. Uh, to what's going on around me. I'm trying to listen to everything as opposed to just saying, you know what, I think I know based on a feeling, not necessarily a fact, or not having all the information. Okay.
Right.
So that's what I say. But I'm also in college right now, specifically for this. Because I got tired of just calling myself that. And here's the thing, I'm smart when it comes to a lot of shit.
Hmm.
But I also know there's certain stuff that I don't know. And I'm pretty sure that I could probably learn at school.
Right.
And I'm learning stuff that in all the thousands of books that I've read that I didn't come across reading it before. So for me, I love this stuff. For somebody else, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, this does kind of dovetail, piggyback a little bit into it. So one of the things is the way that and I've been in this a long time, doing the marketing thing and doing, talking to contractors for businesses. The fastest way for me to for me to start establishing trust with you, like if you're trying to sell me something or trying to present something to me, fastest way to do it is if I ask you a question and you genuinely do not know. If you say, I don't know, let me go find that out. That starts building trust with me. I actually crave that. I actually start like, I want somebody who's going to be honest about what they know versus what they don't know, and not just make up something on the spot.
Hmm.
And I feel like a lot of times that's what's missing in a lot of our discourse is the person that genuinely doesn't know. I try to make it a point when I get on things like, I do not have enough information to have an opinion about that, so I'm not going to have one.
I have more questions
Yeah.
than I have opinions because
And
I don't know anything.
right. And I literally just replied to somebody in some group I'm in. I got something I got tagged in. I said, I don't have enough information to have an opinion about this. And I don't think it's really my place to form an opinion about it because it's none of my business. While everybody else is dropping what their opinions are. I don't know enough about this to have an opinion about it. And the
Right.
reason why I want to discipline myself to say that is because I don't want to be that person that forms an opinion about something that they don't know. 100%. I can maybe if I'm familiar with a little bit of it, I can have opinion about this specific thing, this little nuance. But oftentimes, I find that people are establishing these hardline opinions about smoke. Like it's in their brain, it's smoke,
Hmm.
and they're forming it into something coherent so they can have an opinion to cast against it. I think that's the addiction to. We are addicted to having opinions about things in the social media space, and we're addicted to listening to people's opinions about it. And that's why, again, Cheyenne Bryant will not go broke. She won't go away. She'll keep being in your face because she's mastered getting monetizing her opinion and people paying her for her opinion, whether it
I
be
mean, yeah, she's basically a
informed or
Charles White.
yeah, whether it be
Charleston
informed or
White.
uninformed. And like Charleston White, I hate when I agree with him sometimes, but sometimes he'd be right. More times it's just loud, belligerent, you know. And so that's what it is. And so that's the reality of it. And that's what we're dealing with. The fake guru will never go away. The fake expertise won't go away. The thing you guys can do is protect yourself from it. If somebody never will answer, I don't like if you ask them a question that you know that they don't know the answer to and they still give you an answer, that's probably a sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a sign, hey, maybe I need to reconsider this.
Right.
Because really, at the end of the day, it's about how do you guys arm yourselves with the knowledge to know who is full of shit and who's not full of shit. And understand the context. Like, I can be completely and totally full of shit in this context and completely and totally not full of shit in this other context. It just depends on what we're talking about.
Hmm.
As opposed to assuming because I know this or I have this credential, instantly that qualifies me to speak about this, and this. So,
Got it.
all right.
That makes sense to me.
Yep. So, the questions I have a little section for us, questions for Fearless and Bryan, then we can wrap this up. So, question for Fearless, and then I can answer it too. Have you ever believed someone because they sounded confident?
Yes. Yes.
Um,
I mean, here's the thing, though. I think that we could convince anybody if we wanted to.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, we we have the ability to convince anyone of anything
Mm-hmm.
if you really wanted to.
Right. It was for me. It was a car. I think it was a mechanic. Sounded super confident. Was completely blowing smoke at my ass. Complete just lying, and that's what it was. And I own that one because I didn't know, and at the time there was no internet for me to look at to verify. Like the internet wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now, where you could just Google something. Like you was like Ask Jeeves or whatever. It wasn't Google like that. Um, so
All right, sorry about
fearless,
that.
fearless. Have you ever realized that someone was performing expertise more than actually demonstrating it?
Like someone was blowing smoke up my ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. What was this? And you don't have to get too specific, but what was the trigger for it?
I don't.
What was the canary in the coal mine?
That they've been wrong before.
Okay. Yeah.
That they have been wrong before.
Okay.
You know, and I think that now it's different when it's a stranger. I think
Mhm.
because you don't know those subtle signs, but when it's somebody that you know and you know they've exaggerated certain stories before, it's kind of like, yeah, I could tell that this is not,
Yeah.
you know, um, yeah. So, um, matter of fact, I have an example. An associate of mine called me and asked me, for some money to help him get his car out of the impound.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how did he end up in the impound? And he gives me this long, elaborate story about his cousin taking his keys and then gets stopped by the cops. And he just so happened to have a gun in the car. all kinds of shit. I was done right then and there listening. So I knew that I wasn't gonna get the truth because I've had so many cars in my life. It's ridiculous. You're not gonna get. I'm not giving nobody the keys to my car,
Right. Right.
especially if you ain't got a license. You're already hot headed. You keep a firearm on you, and you don't have anything registered. Fuck no.
Mm-mm.
I'm not giving you shit.
There's a lot I
So
don't know.
yeah,
I can organize and plan well, but it needs to be built. I'm not the guy to call. That's knowing the edge. That's knowing the edges and limits of your
and there's
knowledge. Man.
again though, uh, even with him, they were trying to get some stuff built. He's great at buying it, but like I told him, I'm like, dude, don't build it.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody who will build it for you. Buy it. I'll have her build it for you.
Yep.
Don't touch anything. Set it up. Just leave it in a box. I'll have her come over and build it. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't like doing stuff. I call a person to do stuff for me. God, I'm lazy as fuck.
For me, it's
I will call somebody. I employ people to do shit like that. I'm
well,
not doing it.
I always had this fantasy of building my own smoker, like doing the ugly drum, buying the drum barrel, heating it up, getting all the stuff out, all the gunk out of it, drilling it, all this other stuff. I ain't finna do all that. There's no way that I'm gonna do all that. And so if I do, if I end up buying a custom made drum smoker, I'm going to pay up the premium to have somebody custom built one, and that's what I'm gonna go with. I have the fantasy of doing one. I will lose interest halfway through of building this thing
I
because
would go ahead.
that's not it's the fantasy of it sounds cooler than the actual drilling and all the and measuring and stuff like that. I don't want to do all that shit.
Okay, so can I give you a suggestion?
Yeah.
If if you pay somebody to do it with them.
Mm-hmm.
So then you at least know everything, like help them or have them help you build it. Like just like all my bookshelves and all that stuff, I didn't have somebody do it for me. I had them basically help me to build it myself. She did most of the work,
Mm-hmm.
but I still had her help me so I know every piece. I was around for all of it. If you do that,
Mm-hmm.
you at least have some understanding of how it was built.
See, for me, it's specifically with that thing, that what I'm talking about, I'd rather just buy a used one because it's already seasoned and I ain't gotta worry about it. I can worry about it being seasoned. It's already gone through its first 10 cooks, and then all I got to do is just take the thing and put it back on the on thing and make a drill here, drill there, change this here, change it off this caster and stuff like that. Um, Again, the adventure of doing it sounds cool until you actually are doing it, and then it's like, I don't go through all this. But like if I buy a grill that I have to assemble, if I buy a smoker that I have to assemble, I might be doing that. But not us not doing the DIY thing. I don't want to go out and it sounds fun, but you have to have that. That's got to be the thing you're interested in. And for me, that's not. It's fun up until I actually gotta pick the barrel, lift it up, put it in the back of a truck, and go do all that other
Mm,
stuff.
gotcha.
And the fastest way, if you really want to know, fastest way, if you want to get a good smoker, go on Facebook Marketplace. You can get a good seasoned one for pennies on the dollar,
Hmm.
for literal pennies on the dollar. Um, so let's see. Last thing, why do people love forbidden knowledge? What's the allure of the idea of forbidden knowledge? Because we talked about this a little bit earlier.
Um, so I think that it's kind of like one of those things that um well, I was looking at the thing that you were talking about before in our notes because and I think that what it is it's a forbidden knowledge thing. It's something
Mhm.
that you should have known, but somebody's keeping from you.
Right.
They don't want you to know this. Experts are hiding this. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And if you know what this means that you're awakened.
Hmm.
You know something that other people don't know. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the emotion is what get you.
Yeah.
It's captivating to know shit that other people don't. You know what I mean? Like in philosophy, there was this question about the Matrix, which states if you were given, which one would you take? Would you take the blue pill or the red one?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you take the red pill or whatever, I mean, everything kind of does. If you take the, what is it?
Blue pill, you go back to sleep.
If you go back to sleeping, you can tell yourself whatever you want. And you'll have this ignorant bliss of happiness.
Right.
But if you take that other one, I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole goes,
Right.
right? And my friend, we were talking about this last night. She said, "What would you take?" So I gotta see how deep the rabbit hole goes, man.
Right.
I, I, happiness is a choice. You can still understand what's going on and still rock a different way.
Right.
I'd rather understand the truth and find happiness in that than me sit here with this illusion
Of truth.
of truth that I know is not real.
I like that. I think that's a good ending point.
So,
Um, dealing in the ugly truth is still more comforting than the beautiful lie,
yep.
and that's kind of what we're up against. And I think that's the allure of social media. But again, people love knowing shit that or thinking that they know something that most people don't know, and that's the forbidden knowledge trap, and that's what gurus are selling. Again, old boy was trying to get us all jammed up in some wire fraud scheme because he got trying to get us all caught up in some wire fraud scam because he thought he had some hidden forbidden knowledge, and really he just somebody told him about an illegal activity and didn't tell him it was illegal. So that's
Mhm.
what it is, y'all. We'll be back next week. I don't know if we're going to be continuing on this fake guru thing. I think we said everything that needs to be said about it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But this is Bryan.
fearless here.
Talk to y'all later.
Fearless.
Peace.
Just